All right, good morning, everybody. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to go over the English 10 Honors Project. Some of you have already started it, some of you have completed it, but I know some of you may have some questions. So I wanted to go over it in a session that you could watch. So you should be reading or have finished Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So hopefully you have completed this. It was a pretty long book. You did have it since the beginning of the semester, so hopefully you are done, or if not, you are very close. If you want to take it to AZ Merit, that's a great idea because you will have some time after you complete each test before you go home. All right, so the project details. So there are 4 different things you need to complete for this project. The first 2 have already been due, and most of you have done that, but there are 2 different discussion board questions. The first one's just like a check-in, and the second one is asking you to answer one of the questions that are in the directions. So make sure you complete both of those. The next thing is the book notes. And some of you may be thinking, what are the book notes? Well, in the directions, which we'll look at in a minute, there are already a formatted list of questions for you to answer as you read. So make sure that those are filled out. And then, of course, the main bulk of your project is that literary analysis. So we're going to go ahead and look at the directions because I know a few of you are a little confused as to what to do, especially with that literary analysis piece. So the full assignment is due Friday, April 12th. So that's not this Friday, but next Friday. The locking date is the 14th, which is that Sunday. There will be no submissions accepted after that date. There are 2 check-in dates, both are in the discussion section. Our first check-in was Tuesday, February 26th, and our second was Tuesday, March 12th. You are required to take notes as you read. The guidelines are below. You will put this all together. Look at the bottom of this worksheet for directions. The second part, as you can see, was just a schedule of how you should break down your reading and assignment. Now, some of you may have followed this, some of you may have done something different, and that's totally fine. This is just kind of a help you pace yourself so you didn't have to do it all at the last minute. So this is just the beginning of all of the questions, but you will see when you scroll down in the directions, there are different parts with different questions. This is where you're taking your notes. Now, it might seem like this is not important, but it does help you when you put it all together for your literary analysis at the end. So this is what I'm talking about as book notes. Is there's about 15 questions or so, there may be a little less, and you are answering them. That is your book notes. The last 2, we're going to come back to this slide in just a second, but number 9 and number 10 are the most important questions of all the book notes, and we'll go back to it in just a second. So at the bottom of your directions is the structure for the literary analysis. So you'll be writing an essay based off the 2 questions above, which is that 9 and 10 that we skipped over, and we'll go back to that in just a second. Each question needs to be answered in detail with MLA in-text citations to support your answers. The length requirement is 800 to 1,000 words. It should be split evenly between the 2. It doesn't have to be exact, but each question needs to have content. So you can't do, if it's 800 words, 700 words on question 9 and only 110. It should be pretty even. If it's like, 350 and like 450 or something like that, that's fine. You'll also be attaching the reading notes from above for points. Please do not wait on this assignment. Frankenstein is a long and complex novel. So we're going to go ahead and look at these 2 questions. We're going to go ahead and go back. So your literary analysis is only on these 2 questions. So, number 9, explain your views of Mary Shelley's decision to frame the story as she does. That's a fancy way of saying how she structures the story. With Robert Walton's narrative book ending the story told by Victor Frankenstein, does this framing device or structure improve the story or detract from it? How? In what ways does Walton's character serve as a stand-in or surrogate for readers? In what ways are his views and reactions colored by his personal background and circumstances? So the first part, you're talking about the structure, how she wrote the novel, how she talks about Robert Walton telling the story. Number 10, describe the ways in which the novel met or did not meet your expectations. How were both Victor Frankenstein and the monster he created different in Shelley's novel than in other interpretations or adaptation of the Frankenstein story that you've encountered? Explain any elements of the novel that you found surprising in terms of its treatments of characters, events, and themes. This one is going to be more of a personal response. And I want to remind you that the picture I keep using in this slide, if you have actually read, you know that that is a complete misinterpretation of the monster. That is the Hollywood version that we all know, but it is not how Mary Shelley actually wrote the monster. So this is kind of that personal reflection of how did it meet or not meet your expectations and what surprised you. Think about the word Frankenstein in general. A lot of people call the monster Frankenstein. And as you read, Victor Frankenstein is actually the creator. So, like I said, our due date is April 12th for your whole assignment. That is not this Friday, but next Friday. The locking date for your literary analysis and notes only is April 14th. Your locking date for those discussion boards is the 12th. That's already set. So you need to make sure those discussions are in by the 12th. You have until the 14th for the notes and literary analysis. You have to complete this project to get credit for honors. If you do not complete it, then you will not get credit for this honors course. Where to find your drop boxes. So you'll go up to tools like always to assignment and you're going to scroll to unit 7. You'll see right here there is the 7.01 graded assignment. That's where you're going to put your literary analysis. Already 4 of you have turned that in. And then right underneath is that honors project note. So those book notes that I showed you at the beginning. Your discussions, you're going to go to tools and then discussions, and you're going to scroll all the way down. For some reason, they put it as the last 2 discussions, so you're going to be scrolling for quite some time, but they're all the way at the bottom, and there's the directions for the check-ins. You do not have to respond to anybody else's post. You're only talking about yourself. Last thoughts, MLA citations, you have to have in-text citations. Again, one of the great reasons that you have your book notes. And yes, you're only citing from Mary Shelley. I don't need you to research anything. So all those in-text citations should be Shelley and then the page number. The notes are there to help with the literary essay portion. It's asking you specific questions from each chapters. That's going to help you talking about the structure of how it's written, as well as some surprising things. Make sure you turn in that work by April 12th. Take the reading to AZ merit testing. If you have not finished the novel, make sure you finish it. And AZ merit, after you're done testing, is a great place to do that. If you already turned it in, go over it again. Make sure everything you want in there is there. Some of you did it really quickly because you just wanted to get it done. Now that I went over this in details, I want you to really think about, did I put everything I wanted in there? I have not graded them yet. I will be grading them next week once they're turned in, so you do have that extra time. If you have questions, please ask me. You can email me, Skype, or call me or text me. Now, I will be in AZ merit testing, and I know some of you are there as well. So an email or a Skype would probably be the best. So here are the directions for your project. I hope that you Work hard on this, and if you have questions to let me know. And happy AZ Merit testing.